Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I just watched Slay on Tubi, 2024 film, 1 hour and 39 minutes. It is a comedy horror, also tagged LGBT, and it's super fun. It's a super fun movie. It is the kind of horror comedy that works for me. A lot of stereotype jokes, and I'll get into that in just a second. Let me read the synopsis for you. After a booking mistake, four drag queens find themselves performing for a mostly unwelcoming crowd. But when vampires attack, the crowd looks to the queens to save the day. And yeah, it's just a fun vampire movie with drag queens. Directed and written by Jem Gerard, starring Ryan A. Taylor as Trinity the Tuck, Heidi N. Closet as Robin Banks, Cara Melle as Olive Wood, Crystal Methyd as Bella Du Bois, Diona Cash as Jax, Neil Sandilands as Dusty, and there's a bunch of other characters too. Um, it's really fun. So we start off with actually like right off the rip with action kind of scene with a kill from a vampire, and just kind of attacks a redneck guy that was just off the side of the road taking a piss. And a vampire happens to be there, and the vampire look was really cool. It was good. Um, I was really impressed with that. And then it quickly swerves into um, this camper driving that road and almost hitting the vampire who had just made its kill, just had dinner. And inside the camper are the drag queens, and it's a very funny scene. Not quite Priscilla, Queen of the Desert camper scene, but that's where we get introduced to everybody outside of their drag makeup, get their personality traits and their interactions with each other, and kind of who's what in that little group dynamic, who's who and who's in charge, and who's the mom and who's the person that booked the trip. And yeah, so it is kind of like a mashup. The best I can describe this is like Tu Wong Fu, thanks Julie Newmar, mashed with From Dusk Till Dawn. And so the drag queens show up to this bar. They quickly realize that they have booked the wrong place, and then there's like the drama all with the group blaming the person that did the booking at the wrong place. And it's definitely like a biker bar, and just you wouldn't think that the two different types of people would interact. But the group go into the bar to ask the bartender what's going on and who booked. Can they speak to the person that they booked the performance with? And that person only works during the day, and it was nighttime, and so they go through a little kind of huddle. What are we going to do? They're getting looks. They're. It's like the music stops, and everybody's just staring at them, and they're not even in drag yet. Um, but then, as they're just finally making the decision that they're going to leave, two fans of them come running up to them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe you're going to be performing here tonight. We can't wait," and blah blah blah. So they feel like, okay, let's do the show. We've dealt with this kind of stuff all of our lives. We'll do our show, blah. And then they do a very, very fun first act. So there's like an hour in between, and this is not movie length of time, but in their time, they have an hour to get ready for their performance. So it's only a few minutes on screen, but in that time, we kind of get the dynamic of the people that are in the bar, who's who feels which way about this or that, and lifestyle choices and blah blah blah. You can see a few people are having a very spiked interest, although that they have to keep it kind of to themselves. But the way that this is filmed, they do a good job of letting you know who's feeling what way just by body language, and facial expressions and things like that. And the first performance with the group in drag was just fantastic. And it's one of those rare times where I was like actually happy that they did do the full length of the song. A lot of times when we get these like montages in movies to eat up time with music in the background, it doesn't work for me. But this was like a performance. Like, I don't know if, like, I've been to like countless number of drag shows, and they're just so fun and the energy's good. So it was neat to see how energetic they were doing the performance. And the song was Wet Ass Pussy. So it was kind of interesting. But then we only had the two fans that were really into it. The majority of the crowd was just kind of stunned and didn't know what to think. Then we had the bartender who was catching himself kind of getting down with it. And then he would like realize that he was dancing too much or doing, whatever. And he didn't want people to see him doing it. So he would stop. And he has like a arc in the story as well through the movie. And then it's when we realize that that vampire attack from the beginning of the movie established that this was transformational vampire biting. So the the victim now became a vampire and is now at the bar. And so we've established that there's transformation going on, and that's how we build up, kind of like a zombie movie where once you're bitten, you transform quickly to also be a zombie. In this case, it's a vampire, which was cool. They did do some facial prosthetics and red eyes to indicate, in the little teeth, and it was all very well done, to indicate when somebody had become a vampire. We did get a second performance, which was a solo. We only see a few seconds of that, but then we hear it in the background while we have discussion going on about the situation. Um, and it also starts to amp up when there's more vampires now coming and going. And then there's the one standout guy who's against trans or gay or whatever, being there, and there's a lot of one-liner, a lot of jokes, a lot of sarcasm, on both sides. Particularly with the drag queens, they're very, very quick-witted, and it's very fun. A lot of it are jokes about stereotypes of the gay community, and then also stereotypes about the straight community and each perception of the other. So we're gonna get like a build to the end where everybody's gonna become like accepting of each other. And yeah, so that's what happens too. So we have this very kick-ass vampire movie with very cool drag queens, and then there's sprinkles. This is not like thrown in your face. It's not anything that makes you feel like this was the reason for the movie, but there is the whole little subplots and subtext of being accepted for who you are. You don't have you're not gay because you like drag shows, like that was mentioned. Like drag shows aren't just for gay people. Straight people can like going to drag shows, and there was a lot of that, but it wasn't like in your face, crammed in. And then the one bartender has the biggest arc, and there's like touching moments between the bar patrons and the drags individually. There's characters that have like more interactions solo than like just the cannon fodder, all the other bar patrons that get killed off. Um, and then you get to that moment in the movie where everyone realizes that whoever's left, they have to team together. So you can't be worried about your personal or political views on whatever anybody's lifestyle is. We all got to get together, and if we're going to live, we got to fight together. So that breaks down the barriers. They kind of do team ups, and everybody goes off in different directions. They do a little weapons montage, which was very fun. Showing how or each different person picking weapons and what the drags pick for weapons versus what the normals, the straights pick for their weapons, and just it's fun to go together. And then there was really touching moments with the bartender guy, and then we find out some of his background, and he makes a huge transformation by the end of the movie. And again, it just wasn't like feeling like it was crammed down. This truly felt like it was a From Dusk Till Dawn movie, and less of a we're gonna put out an LGBT message, and we're gonna make a movie to you know cram that story first and then like vampire second. It still stayed very much a vampire movie for the whole thing. um, and it was fun, and there were transformations of people in the groups too, and they did do some neat dynamics with the vampire lore. A lot of references to Twilight with the glitter, because there's some the drag queens had glitter and they sparkled, and that was kind of like that's a running joke with Twilight. um, and there was um, the kills were of the vampires were all very consistent. When you stabbed them through the heart, which is how you kill them. They did a very good um, dust burst, like explosion, but not like bloody explosion. Like vampire movies all kind of do their own thing. They go with big blood bombs going off, or like big light whatever. This was like dust, glitter, explosion, very simple. Didn't look cheesy at all. It looked very good. It looked very vampire kill like. So yeah, this is one of the higher um, uh, quality Tubi originals, Tubi movies. I don't know if it's an original, but it's on Tubi. It has 6.7 star rating out of 10 right now. This didn't. This just came out not too long ago. Let me see if I can find. I don't remember. March 22nd. So it's only been on for a couple of months, but definitely worth checking out. It's a fun movie, and you know, it was filmed in Canada, but they do speak English, so you'll be all right. And actually, the South Africa, the country of origin was Canada, but it was filming location says Cape Town, South Africa, which is strange. It's very weird. Who knew there was vampires in South Africa? But if you go on to check this out, let me know in the comments down below. Keep checking back to the channel for more great stuff.